Welcome to my channel, so friends, the best blog for anything related to dressmaking for kids. My name is Ajulam. In today's video, I'll be guiding us through the simplest steps to create a beautiful bodice design with a yoke. So this tutorial is meant to be your go-to resource for learning how to achieve this beautiful design. So from drafting the pattern to the sewing aspect of it, I got you covered every step of the way. So grab your sewing kit and let's embark on this creative journey together. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on my upcoming tutorials. Let's get started. Here are the materials I'll be using to create this lovely design. So the first one here is my cotton lining, my satin, and of course my net. So the cotton lining is just 1/2 inch because I will not be using much of that. So here is my pattern already drafted out. The front one is where I'll be starting from. So I'll first connect that is the neck depth. I'm going to connect that. Now you can see that my pattern already I've added all the measurements. So all I need to do is to create the yoke part. This pattern is very easy. After creating the yoke part, I'll go ahead and mark out where I'll be sewing in all my loop. Okay, so I'm just connecting the neckline, and for this age I am using 2.5 inches. This is going to be for a 5-year-old. So the neck width and neck depth I use 2.5 inches. After which I went ahead to make visible the midpoint of my armhole. This is very important. In almost all my videos I do that because it will help you to achieve the goal of the pattern. So that is the midpoint of the armhole. So from that point you can decide how open you want the yoke to be. You can decide to use a straight line to create your yoke, or make it curvy or slanted, whichever way you prefer. Okay, so what I'm going to do on my own here, you can see from the armhole line I just went up by 1 inch. So from that 1 inch I will just connect to the the midpoint on that armhole. Alright, like I was saying, I am using 1 inch from the armhole line or the chest line. I'm using 1 inch upward, so I'm going to mark that and then connect the points. So I'll be connecting now from the armhole, half of the armhole. I'll just connect it to the new point that I just marked to create the yoke part. Now you can see that the upper side is going to be the yoke. So like I said earlier, this part you can decide to make yours straight, curvy, slanted, in whichever form you want yours to be. You can go ahead and do that. So the upper side now is the yoke, while this other side is where I'll be creating my loop. You can just decide how many lines you want your loop to have. You can make yours 8, 6, but I'll always advise not to go below 6 lines so that the dress will come out very beautiful. So I'll be using 6 lines for that. So all I'm going to do is to divide what I have on each of the sides. Now this is the midpoint. You can see I am placing my tape from the center front line. Then whatever you have there, you can decide to divide by 3 or 4. Like I said earlier, it all depends on how many loop you want the front side to have. So for mine, I will not be dividing that by 2. All I did was, just because I want mine to have just 6 lines after sewing, okay, or rather 5 lines after sewing. So I'm going to just mark it in a way that my 5 lines will fit in without getting to the side. So I don't want my loop to get to that side, as you can see. So I want mine to be like half of that side. You can see the way I am doing mine. So all I need to do is to divide what I have on this side by 2. Okay, so when I divide by 2 on each of these, I will now connect it straight again to this half of the armhole measurement. You can see what I'm doing there. So from that midpoint of the armhole, I will just connect it to half of each of the sides. Okay, like I said earlier, I don't want my own loop to be too much, so that is where mine will be starting or end. Then whatever you have there, you can now decide to divide into 2 again, so that I'll have 2 on that side, 2 on this other side, and then the center line is going to make it the 5th one. So at the end of the day, I am going to have just 5 loop. So that is what I'm trying to create here. All right, so I would like to use this opportunity to remind us that our online classes are on. So we have the beginner class, the intermediate class, the advanced class, the cupcake dress class, the blazer jacket dress class, the trouser class. We have different classes for different level in sewing. If you're interested in any of these classes that I mentioned, just send me a WhatsApp message on the number showing on the screen so I can forward the outlines for you to see. All right, so just keep on watching. I'm just trying to create my loop. Like I said earlier, yours can be more or less. It all depends on what you have in mind. At this point, I'm just trying to divide what I have left into two. Like I said, I divided the part on the waistline into two and the part on the curved area into two as well. So this is what I have. So if you count now, I have 3 lines. So I'm going to repeat what I did now on this other side as well. So all you need to do is to follow the process but work with your own measurement. Just try to be creative and you will get it right at the end of the day. Just keep on watching. So this is the back. I'm going to repeat what I just did now by making the armhole part, that is the center, the midpoint of my armhole, just make it visible, and then from there for the back side I'll just connect it straight to this area. If you want, you can also go up by 1 inch like I did for the front. It's still okay. Then you just connect and you get your yoke part ready. So I'm just connecting it straight to that armhole line for the back yoke. Okay, so this is the back yoke. Now for this back side, I'm going to be leaving it straight as it is, but if you want, you can also repeat, create some loop for the back, but the front is just what the front side is very okay for me. So the pattern is ready. Now another important part is the sewing. So I want you to make sure to watch this video to the end so you can see how to stitch this together. So I'm going to be cutting this off and then cut on my fabric. Now for the loop, I'll be using this fabric to create the loop here, okay, while this satin is going to be this where the loop will be sitting on, and then my net is going to be what we'll be using to wrap it all around and then on the yoke side. this is where we are. This is what the front and the back looks like. So at this point I'm going to be working with the round the shoulder measurement to finish up this bodice part. Now the round the shoulder measurement for this age, it is 32. Okay, so I'm going to measure what I have from this point to this point, and this is 9. So this is 9 plus the back one, which is also 9, so that is going to give me 18. So I'm going to minus 32 from 18. Whatever I have left is what I'll be using now on this, you know, sleeve part. But before then, I am going to take this to create, you know, the ruffles that is sitting exactly on this end. Now all you need to do is to make sure that the width of your net is up to whatever you have here. You can also make it extra, and then for the height it should be, what I have here is 30 inches. Okay, so this way I will have more than enough, you know, to use and create the ruffles that will sit on this part. So what I'm going to do first is to close it straight. I'm going to close it straight and then iron it, after which I am now open it up now and fold. You can decide to also pleat and then straighten it up the way you want yours to be, and then I'm going to be, you know, stitching it from this point. Now you can see that I left this area open because I'll be sewing this on this part. I want this work to be very neat. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do now. I'll also show us step by step on how to stitch it.